Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Moviecast episode 681. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy,
What's up?
Corey Feinside,
Hello.
and Tony Korkanakis.
Yo.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners. Welcome, viewers. 681 of the Moviecast, folks. Last week we did our Of the Years for movies, so please check that out if you haven't listened to it yet. It's also on YouTube over there, so check it out on YouTube and audio streaming on Spotify and iTunes. Find out what we thought was the best, our favorites of 2023. Tonight will be Gamecast Games of the Year, so stay tuned for that. But we're going to do a movie cast, folks. We haven't talked about a lot of movie news that happened, a lot of crazy stuff, and well, I don't know, crazy, but a lot of news happened last week. Couldn't talk about because of the year. But we'll get into that in a minute. What have we been watching, guys? Did anybody watch Echo?
Not yet.
No,
Not yet.
It's not Echoes.
Yeah, I actually loved it. I loved
good
it.
things.
It just was destroyed. Like I felt. See if you guys feel like it's just missing some stuff. Like I feel like they just cut too much.
Yeah, I could see that, right? Because it's only 5 episodes.
Yeah, it's only 5.
Five
and
seems
was
like, and I think we've
Yeah.
talked about this before, especially when it was the Netflix series. But like, they find that they need to find that balance of like too much and then not enough,
Yeah.
right? And this feels
Yeah.
like it's on that not enough.
I feel like 8 or 9 for this could have been really, really well done.
Are
They
they
didn't
half
get to
hour
explore
or
the
1
characters.
hour or 40
That's the
minutes?
problem. They just get shorter. Like so, you're dealing with 5 episodes. The first one's like 50 minutes, and then 40, and then 30, and then like 27 and 20. It's just like yeah. So it's just like I didn't like the way they cut stuff. But I did enjoy it quite a bit. And Mike, bringing back the Netflix universe essentially with this style. It's very bloody. It's very R-rated, mature rated, I guess, for those TV viewers. It's good. It's very good. It has that vibe. It's got the fight sequences like Daredevil that we wanted. It has that same styling. They really captured that quite well in this series. So I recommend it, especially because it's only 5 episodes and it's just super short.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm gonna
it
get
doesn't
to
take
it.
long.
But I just didn't.
Yeah.
And,
And-
I
I don't have Disney right now, so.
And obviously, no spoilers here. Vincent D'Onofrio is just fucking incredible as Kingpin. He owns it. He just owns it. Yeah. So that was I watched that, and then minorly on the minor side of things, and I do want to complain about this and talk. I watched Squid Game, the reality one. I finished it up. So we had a snow day today, so I had that on while I was working, and the problem with this show, yeah, listen, I didn't think it was that bad.
Singular problem.
Like,
problem.
For the record, I actually enjoyed it, and I didn't think it was that bad.
No,
But
sure,
the problem we have with a reality show is it's real. It's not fiction. So when the show basically presented one likable character, and I mean I don't want to do mild spoilers. Does anybody care if I spoil this part of it? Like this, really, I'm sorry, listeners. I'm not spoiling who wins. But I will spoil the fact that there's a mother and a son in this show, and the son has to eliminate the mother. They get that. They got that. The directors got what they wanted there, I'm sure. And then the son is the only one you really care about in this, and he just gets screwed, and he gets killed. So you can't have that hero of the show that you would. That's the problem with a reality show. So the final 3 are people I'm just like, okay. I will give one guy credit. He is definitely an Ace. Was Ace Attorney the video game?
Oh yeah.
He's 100% because they play a game of like similar to Werewolf, and he nails people. They keep trying to get him, and he does that point. He does that famous point, and he just calls them out, and you just know he knows what he's doing. He's 100% played Werewolf before, and he 100% has played Ace Attorney. So. That was entertaining.
Might have to look up that episode. Like, thing is, like, I don't know. I love Squid Games. Don't get me wrong, but like them doing the reality show kind of gave me the ickies because, like, I don't like. It's like the author of this was clearly trying to illustrate a point about exploitation of poor people against wealthy ones that are in power, right? And like, it seems like for them to run a mini or a reality version of it, it's like you're missing the point. Like it went over your head, Netflix. Like
they're almost
like they're talking about you, kinda in a way. Like
they basically went out and found these same people and put him in a non-death related game.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like I said, my one friend's in it. I don't think she actually appeared. Like you can see her in the background, but she didn't like get interviewed or whatever, focused or anything like that. But
no, I mean, it was entertaining. At least it was good. I just felt like the problem with the reality show is you can't. The person you want to win doesn't necessarily mean he's going to win.
Yeah.
And I will say during that sequence, you're just like fucking cheering for him because he almost pulls it off, and then he just doesn't. You're just like,
this could have been compare to the Mr. Beast version.
The that's more brutal. That's more ruthless from what I understand, right? Like that's got some underhanded stuff.
I haven't seen either, so.
There's been the finale of this really got this, but this one was very lovey-dovey for a while, and there was a couple of backstabbing parts, but there was this one that apparently was supposed to be pretty harsh. But yeah, so I mean that's really it for me this week. Those two things. Corey, what have you been watching?
I've just been catching up on Reacher, Monarch,
and then how's Reacher?
No, it's awesome. Yeah, I mean I'm really enjoying it, so highly recommend. Good for that, that style of show. It's that mystery, bringing a team together, trying to figure out what's going on, little backstabbing, betrayal type things going on there. But then, like, is it though? And so, it's been really good. Monarch has been good. We've talked about that. But then Tony, you actually recommended an anime last week to me after.
Fearin', right?
Yeah. And so I started watching that, and it's definitely not what I expected it to be. Like I was like, oh, this is a little slow burn, but it's been pretty good. So I've been going through that. So like halfway through, I think, around there. Yes. And it's like about an elf who has a really long life, and so like the story starts at the end of their adventure, and then she just you just follow her as she continues living on throughout the years. So it's more of like a slice of life almost, but with some adventuring, and then you get a little bit of action here and there. So yeah, it's been pretty interesting actually. So it's a neat change of pace from like a lot of these other like high intensity, flashy type anime. So
okay, cool. All right, Tony.
Yes, I've been watching that as well. Caught up because it's still concurrent. There's I think like 8 episodes left or something like that. But I mean, it's odd to have like a series that kind of leans into like the tropes because it takes place in like a medieval fantasy world, which is not a bad thing or anything like that. But they use some tropes just as dressing, right, for the world setting and whatnot. And like obviously they have like classes like cleric and mage and warrior and whatnot, so on and so forth. But the content in terms of like where the story goes and how the characters act is completely different, and it's refreshing because you watch it and you're just like, oh, I didn't expect that. Like, and the way it's set up is like they almost manipulate your feelings to a degree, right? Because they're like, yeah, you thought this was gonna be all fun and games, right? Now you're sad, and it's like, oh yeah, I am sad. Why would you make me sad? But they continue to do that throughout the series because, like Corey was alluding to, imagine like a Final Fantasy game or insert Dragon Quest or any other RPG like that, right? Imagine if like there was a series where it's like, hey, this takes place after they beat the big bad, they saved the world, they did everything like that, and decades pass and there's an elf character, and elves can live to be virtually ageless, right? Unless they die of unnatural causes or something like that. And it's like that character is dealing with, the reality of what happens when people they know, are starting to age and whatnot and stuff like that. So it gives an interesting twist to like how characters view that point. Like it's kind of touched upon like Lord of the Rings a little bit, with Aragorn and Eowyn and stuff like that, but this is like the central theme for the series. So I definitely recommend that. And then the other anime that Netflix is doing is called Delicious in Dungeon, which is kind of like adjacent, but this is more comedic, where you have this band of again adventurers, medieval fantasy, whatever theme, and kind of like they have to explore a dungeon, right? And just like a video game trope, like the lower you get in the dungeons, the harder things get, the more tough bosses you fight, this and the other thing. And this is only like episode 1 spoilers, but the one character, their party wipes, right? And right before they're all about to die to this boss, the maid or whatever like teleports everybody else in the party back to the surface or something like that, and sacrifices themselves. And it's like, oh, we got to go rescue them. You know, we have a certain amount of time, and it kind of uses a little bit of game logic too. They're like, oh, if we get to them within 3 days, we can use a resurrection spell or whatever like that. So they're trying to race down to there, but because of the teleportation, like they lose all their gear and items and whatnot. So they have just like basic ass gear, and they're like, we don't have the money to buy new stuff. So, I mean, how are we going to eat food and stuff like that? And they're just like, well, we could just eat the monsters, right? So, it's them about being, and it's kind of taboo in that world, right? It's like, that's not food. And they're like, but is it? And like the first episode is just them being like, all right, well, we just killed this giant mushroom monster. How do we cook this? There's this old book I have that shows me how to cook these recipes. And it's basically that. It's like, oh, well, if you slice it this way, the meat will be tender, and if you soak it in like, I don't know, lizard acid juices, it'll tenderize it even better, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, I don't know, just kind of goofy and stuff like that. But it's really funny because the characters play off each other really well. But that's pretty much it for me.
All right, Mike?
The second half of Doom Patrol came out sometime last year. I don't remember when. That's the last season. So I watched an episode or two of that. It's hard to get back into it because it's a very convoluted, weird show, a little bit, but it's still fun. Yeah, like just there's like some time travel thing going on. There's actually not currently. There was earlier in the season, but now it's more, ironically, Alan Wakey, where fiction's coming to reality, like storyline going on. And yeah, this will end the series in a few episodes. It's, so I'm curious to see how it goes, but it's always a fun little mind fuck of a show to watch. So I recommend it. It's 4 seasons now, and that's the end. So
get an ending, I guess, right? Because they knew.
I'm assuming so. I think they might have known, at least for the second half of this last season, that was going to be it. So we'll see how it goes.
Cool. I was thinking today, like, I don't believe Cobra Kai has ever taken my series, like, TV show of the year. I don't think it has. I have to go back because this is it. This is the final season coming this year. So I'm like, it can it do it finally? I don't know.
Well, you're gonna get a movie.
It's a lot. That's true.
With Ralph.
Yeah, it's true.
Ralph
Macchio.
But it's not Cobra Kai.
But it's
and that's still weird to me. Like I don't know how it fits into the,
well, we'll see how this. We'll see how this ends. I guess that'll set it up.
Chan and so
maybe it's like a Karate Kid like multiverse.
Oh, maybe. I shared you. Oh man, the what is it? Cobra Kai U.
You were never supposed to win the karate tournament.
Oh, that's cool.
We're not even learning karate. We're learning wushu.
Yeah. So cool. All right. Anyways, let's get in some news, guys. We've got a like I said, of the year podcast coming up tonight. So, all right, let's talk about some news. There's a lot of stuff that happened. Firstly, we'll kick it off with the teaser for Arcane season 2 came out last week. We didn't talk about it. Coming November to Netflix. Exciting. I know I just finished it, so I'm very excited. So, as it's super, it is super fresh. Yeah, it's super fresh. So it's very exciting. All right, they didn't give a specific day in November yet, right?
No.
Yeah, so
they did. Okay. Just general.
So that's good news. Caitlin Dever officially casted as Abby for Last of Us season 2, as they're shooting that now, I believe, right? That started shooting.
I mean, they're doing a lot of casting. They've casted a couple other characters.
Is it cast?
They casted.
Is it just cast?
They casted. Yeah, it sounded weird when I said it. That threw me off. I was like, wait. But they have cast some other characters, like Dina being a specific, like, pretty important role in that.
Yeah.
She's been cast, and I think.
I want to know who's gonna play the chick playing the PSP that gets murdered. That's what I care. Or the Vita. I'm sorry, not the PSP.
The Vita.
I was gonna say. Yeah.
That's got to make the show, right? That's got to make the show.
It's gotta.
Yeah. So interesting. We'll find out. A couple of bits of Star Wars news last week. Mandalorian and Grogu film coming to theaters. That was kind of the biggest thing. Jon Favreau's directing, produced by Favreau, Kathleen Kennedy, of course, and David Filoni, which is good. Will go in production this year, so it's kind of in
the process. Like, I have no desire Like I had no desire to see any of season, 2 of Mandalorian, let alone 3. So.
Yeah, look. I mean, guys, I know you guys and myself to an extent. I mean, if you look at my list, we didn't do of the year for shows. As you look at my list, I mean, no Star Wars show is going to be on that list. No movies, obviously, because there hasn't been any. But I still always have hope for my Star Wars universe. I mean, my
New Hope.
A New Hope, hopefully. My wall. My wall
Was-
aligned with Star Wars art. I've got Star Wars Legos everywhere in here. I'm a big fan, and as you can see, there's some Black Series figures back there.
That's fine.
So I'm hoping.
I mean, you're getting Ahsoka season 2, so.
Yeah, I
That
know that
was,
was announced as well. So
Third season of Mandalorian was this year, right?
yeah, was it this year? Yeah, it was this year because I know I left one off my list.
2023. Yes.
Yeah, I mean of the year, that was last year.
It was
yeah.
last year, yeah.
Yeah, I could have put that on my
Yeah,
list, but I was like, I'm not gonna include that. So.
I forgot I watched it. So we'll.
There you go. Readjusting
I
your
mean,
list for next week.
I did watch it. Yeah, I mean, I have to. It's one of like the 3 or 4 shows I watch. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot I watched it. It was all right, whatever.
We'll
So-
talk
But
about
the
next
pro-
week.
I mean, honestly though, but tying it into this, the problem with the movie now is like they're stretching for new stuff for these characters to do at this point. Like,
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree. I think that like going to the movies makes like to a movie setting for it makes the more sense than another season of a show. If it makes any sense, does that make sense? Like,
No.
do you see what I'm thinking?
No.
mean,
Like, I feel like you can tell like an epic
suppose.
story, like a space saga, like a Star Wars story, like now in the movies that you
Why
set
can't
up
they
all
do
this
that in the show?
Because it's very expensive.
What do you think the
They-
budget for
look
Mandalorian
like-
is?
I know that's what I'm saying. So that's why you spend less money on a movie
What?
what?
or close. I think you have a better chance of making the money back that you spent on a movie than you do from the series. That's my theory. They're doing budgets, don't forget. So I'm thinking like, hey, let's move this to a movie because we could probably almost do
Are
the
you
same
saying
budget.
this is like gonna be like a made-for-television movie, Jim? What, like
No.
you do television, you do TV because it's cheaper. You don't do.
Oh.
not with what these shows have cost. I mean, these shows have been insane. Seriously, 225 million for
No,
a
I
show?
mean that, but that's their. I mean that's
I-
their.
I just don't
fault.
understand the move because we're gonna get less content, right? It's gonna be
Sure,
3 hours
sure story.
tops,
Sure
probably
story.
closer to
Yeah.
2.
I would hope
Like,
not.
right?
3.
Push
None
it
of the
to 2.
seasons of Mandalorian have had stories that you could wrap up in 2 hours.
No, I got it.
They've
I got what
tried.
you're saying. I
Have
got what
they?
you're saying.
Oh, I guess season 1.5, sure.
I mean, season 3 kept getting shorter and shorter, but
I mean, I feel like they just do these weird storylines that don't go anywhere. And
I
then-
just don't. I don't care. I don't fucking care. Move
I mean,
the
this-
goddamn plot along the entire universe. Like I do not
Star
care
Wars-
about this space
Star
to
Wars-
investigate.
is always going to exist. So
Unfortunately, yes.
So what about Yamazaki, director of Godzilla -1, was at Lucasfilm for a screening of that, and it was organized, and apparently they hoping to work together on a project for Star Wars. What do you think? I mean, could that regenerate?
No, it'd be the
rejuvenate-
worst decision
rejuvenate?
possible. No.
You don't think there's any saving this universe? It's just burnt. by the burn.
Absolutely.
I don't. I think
Absolutely.
that they could bring it back. I just think they need to dial it down first. It's one of those like you
Yeah,
gotta take it away for a little bit to make it
It's funny.
special again.
By the
I think we're
time,
currently in that though. Like,
Yeah, by the
that's
time the
already
movie
their
comes
strategy,
out,
but
yeah, by the time
still,
the
like-
movie
We
comes
have
out,
like
how long
2
ago?
shows
Stop.
coming out this year, don't we?
Not movies though. There's nothing in the theaters whatsoever for Star Wars. There's no like.
You're getting
You know-
more Star Wars now than ever before, though.
We
And
have a
that-
game.
they-
We had a game
see, that's
last
the
year. We
point.
have a game coming this year. We have 2
Great
shows
game.
coming this year.
Hopefully a game this year. Hopefully a game this
Hopefully.
year.
As of right now, we have a game scheduled for this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the game was great last year. We're getting good content. I just think that decently content, not the shows, but I feel like the shows have fallen off, and that's where I think something revitalized in the theaters. Like I'd like to see
No,
Star
I
Wars.
think.
movie.
I mean, I don't mind this universe. I love Star Wars. I just think that they've beaten the storylines that they've. Like,
They're
been
beating a dead
presenting.
horse. I don't care.
Right.
Like
And so,
fill
like,
the
what was
space in
best Star
between.
Wars thing that had come
Yeah.
out? Like, had nothing to do with Jedi, and like, according to, I haven't even watched Andor, but like Andor.
Andor's great.
Andor.
Andor's
Like,
great.
I haven't even watched it, but like I was saying, like everybody loves this show, and it has nothing to do with what like is going on in this overall. Like it's like
No, I
that's
know.
the best stuff that's come out. So like, where's more of that kind of thing?
Yeah.
When they
I
finally
got you.
do something that's after episode 9, maybe I'll care again.
That's what they're working on. A new Rey saga is going
Although
on.
we're getting that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're getting.
Okay,
I
so
feel
when
that
we
was
start to get details about that, I may care.
Well, they had written, I think it came out today, that this will be a story not like any other Star Wars story. But they always say that.
They've said that every single time.
Well, I was just gonna say they also said they were intentionally going to, slow it down a little bit because there was an oversaturation.
Anyway, I'm done talking.
Have they
You guys
slowed
can talk
down?
about it.
All right. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think that they have slowed it down, Mike. I agree with you. So I think that's what we're trying
only
to do.
theatrically, I would say at this point.
Sure.
There's no more Rogue Ones or solo stories, stuff like that. But also, everyone hated the last movie too. So
Rogue Squadron was announced like what 3 years ago.
Rogue Squadron was supposed to have come out actually in the past month, I think. I saw a tweet that was like, "If things had gone to plan, Rogue Squadron should have been out today." And it's like,
yeah.
So, well, we'll see where this goes. Hopefully the whole thing gets, rejuvenated and is good again. We'll see.
I'll hold my breath.
So, all right. Let's see. To tie the two last bits of news together, it's the MCU. Echo we talked about in the beginning of this podcast, and I will say the cool thing about Echo is it is in the canon for the MCU, and it's so because of that. So are all of the old Netflix shows. They have brought them into the timeline as
Sacred
canon.
Timeline.
As canon. So that's everybody. Unfortunately, you get them all. Unfortunately,
Loki was just pulling those threads. Like, get over here, Netflix. You're part of the family now.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see, right? I mean,
would have thought that the Netflix universe came in before Agents of Shield.
I was shocked, and the placement of these shows.
I called that that was completely because of fucking Perlmutter.
Mm-hmm.
Because him and fucking Foggy didn't get along, and Foggy had to go over his head to get his own division.
Right, but I felt like Netflix was even more separated than Agents of Shield was from.
I mean, they took
MCU
hints. They took hints.
Well, I mean,
and stuff
yeah,
like that.
Agents of Shield was directly impacted by some of the movies, and there were characters from the movies in Agents of Shield. So,
but obviously, I like this. I liked the Netflix universe. It's obviously way later.
Hashtag it's
now.
all connected. Remember that?
But yeah, so I was curious if they were just going to explicitly say this or keep it vague, kind of like they had been doing with Kingpin and Hawkeye before.
Nope.
Do we get Daisy Johnson on screen somewhere?
I did hear a rumor.
I don't know about that.
That we'll see her as Quake again or something like that.
Yeah, I think we'll see about that now. I think I will give you guys now the doors open. I will say that now.
If anything, it's gonna be in Secret Wars. So
yeah,
I think absolutely you got to get them in Secret Wars 100%. If Coulson doesn't show up in Secret Wars, Jesus.
I would actually expect a joke about it in Deadpool 3 too, as well.
That would be funny. Yeah.
That could be. I think Deadpool 3 is going to be quite interesting.
Like he just shows up and just like kills the Inhumans because like that was just a bomb. I had zero interest ever at anyone. I'm like, no, stop trying to make this happen. It's never gonna happen.
Yeah, that was a mistake. Mistakes were made. All right, they've made a few of them now. So yeah, I mean that's great. And the cool thing about tying this news together, the last bit of news is that for the Daredevil Born Again series, Foggy and Karen are now back. Deborah Ann Wall and Eldon Henson are back, and they will be playing. Apparently, they were originally going to be as a cameo. That was the first plan, and now they're going to be back as a more of a bigger role.
Well, I thought the first plan is they weren't going to be there at all, and we were all mad about it.
From what I was reading from the source guy that we always hear about leaks and stuff, it's been pretty good. I mean, I'm not saying he's excellent, but they're pretty close. We don't know if he or she, whatever they are, that they were going to be a cameo originally, just a cameo. That was the idea, and now they're going to be more brought on as a full cast. So, which is good because I think you need them.
Well, if you're bringing Daredevil and all the Netflix stuff into the canon, then like these are central characters for Matt Murdock's Daredevil.
It was already built. Yeah, it was already built.
Yeah, and so it was like, why is this even like in doubt? Like that should have been like central from the beginning. Like this is so silly that it was even like because what Deborah Ann Wall was like, I didn't even get a call about this yet. So like,
I mean,
and of course this.
Go
ahead.
No,
yours is more relevant about what we're talking about.
I was just gonna say real quick, like. I think it might have been a misfire on their end where like they didn't realize like, oh, people care about the other characters too, right? Because it's like, oh, comic book character, you only care about the comic book hero, right? But also, I believe that with all the stuff that happened with the writers and actor strike last year, this was a silver lining where it's like, hey, look, like we had some extra months to ruminate on these things, and it's like, can we get them? Like, all right, let's try to get them back, or especially because there was so much pushback online about this.
There was a lot.
There was
of
a lot of
with the
pushback.
Scripts. There's a lot of script issues they had too.
Yeah.
I think what they've done is they've scrapped what they had written, and they're like, let's get them in now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we got 5 episodes for Echo, and then they're 22 or something for Born.
No, even more than that. I thought it was like.
I thought it was 20. I think it's 22.
They pared that back later on, but
that's what I mean.
We'll
it's like it was like I remember we were saying like this is
I'm not
weird.
sure.
Like, why are there so many episodes for this show?
It might be 18 now. But yeah.
The one question, which is really more than one question that this raises, is what does this mean for the sort of sloppier, strangely ended, cut off
Iron Fist
Netflix shows like Iron Fist, which everyone hates, so I'll spoil the end of season 2. What's his name? Danny Rand is overseas with Ward shooting like Iron Fist guns, and Colleen is the new Iron Fist. So
wait, Ward?
It'll be in. Ward is his buddy now by the end of season 2.
Not
Ward
from the brother.
Oh, the brother. I thought you were talking about Agent Ward, right?
Shield.
Yeah, I was like, wait, I thought we killed. No. I thought he died. I was like, did I forget something?
Not that. Ward, yeah. And the end of Luke Cage season 2 sees him like yeah, he owns like the club where every bad guy owned it before. So
yeah,
they ended in those two in some weird places. So I don't know.
Don't forget John Berthold's Punisher might show up also.
Yeah, he actually just said something in an interview.
That second one.
Yeah, he was talking about it, so he's excited. He's back.
So I'm curious to see what they want to do with that, especially since I guess those second seasons are going to be canon now.
If anything, I think it'll just be a good opportunity for them to like either adapt storylines from certain comics or just go on their own with some new original content. And either way, it's fine. With the exception of Danny, the others did great. Everybody, Matt Murdock, Jessica Jones.
I want to see him shoot Iron Fist guns overseas.
No.
Yeah, look cool.
Colleen, I think they could bring Colleen back as the Iron Fist instead.
If the guy guns, he can't do martial arts. It looked great.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right, and so that's pretty much it for the news.
So related to that, part of it, I guess the opposite of the silver lining because of the Actors and Writers Guild strike. Stephen Yeun is no longer to be Sentry.
That's right. That was the last down before. Yeah. So Stephen Yeun is out as Sentry. No idea who's taking that role on next. They haven't announced anything yet, so we'll see.
Which is that was supposed to be for Thunderbolts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's coming out this year.
No, it is not. No, it is not. That's like when I read the news, I was like, you guys didn't finish shoot? I guess not. Like, okay.
Well, they didn't shoot
Unless
it because
it's like super small. Like I don't know. Like maybe you could get it still, but like it just seems.
There's been promo posters for that. Like
for Thunderbolts.
They're shooting something because I mean I don't know.
Yeah, but I thought it was just like the weird characters standing around but look to like pose to like look like they're all standing as a team or something like that.
Like, you could have gotten them from anywhere. Yeah.
Have I was gonna say they also like went through a whole like rewrite too. I think
they did.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see how it's supposed to be coming out, but we'll see.
All right. So that's going to do it for this episode, folks. Thanks for tuning to the Moviecast. Once again, we are live on Twitch Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock. Please join us live. Leave us comments, questions here. YouTube, all of our content's over there. Subscribe to both channels so you know when we go live or when we post. All the audio stuff, Spotify and iTunes. We appreciate it, guys. Stay for the Gamecast. See you soon. We're out.